there was two partners that were not only partners in business, but both their kids married into each other. And they had a very, very interesting guest. It was a Holocaust survivor. And this guest would come in and would just, let's just say he's a very opinionated guest, a very opinionated guy. And and one day, one of the partner's wives, he comes into their house. It was Erev Shabbos. Everything was hectic. Everything was starting to turn upside down. And it came to the point where she was just going to lose it. She didn't realize the Mevater and Ladasa part yet. She was just going to lose it on everybody. And then he comes in. And he's all relaxed. He's really, he looks and he says, that vase doesn't match he says, this thing. He says and he starts giving her pointers on the decor of the Shabbos table. And she is rushing, barely trying to make Shabbos. He says, what? He says, I don't care about the vase. I need to candle. He says, do me a favor. And she just blows up. She says, do me a favor. He says, we love to have you. We want to have you. Just leave the decor to me. Leave it. Just stay, but just keep this to me. And he got very insulted. And he got so upset that he got up and he left. And he didn't return for quite a few months. And she felt bad about it. And she would go and she would reach out to him, please come back. And he's like, no, I'm not interested. A few months go by. Finally, they make shalom, and he comes, and he comes back to the house. And he ended up staying in her house more than the other partner. A few years go by, and he gets sick. And when he got sick, he was full time in this house, this offended house. He was full time in there. And after, she waited on him, had everything that he wanted, he got. He made sure that he was on the top priority. A few months go by after he got extremely, extremely sick, and he was nifter. And the court, a few months later, goes and reaches out to both the partners, says, there was a tzava, there was a will, and we want you to go and discuss the will. So they both go into court. This happened in Israel, and right now the money is being held in the court. So they both go into court, and one of the partners, the one that was not offended, goes up and he says and he gives the will that he has. Now, just to take a step back for a second, this Holocaust survivor left $7 million, not shekels, $7 million, and he put 3 wills. One will was both partners should split it 50-50. Then they got into a fight with this offended partner, and and he wrote a new will that $7 million is going to go to the unoffended partner, and the one that offended him is only going to get $1,000. Then they made up, and then they made a third will, and that third will is that it's going back to 50-50. So the offended party is over there, and the non-offended party, let's call them, is over there. The non-offended party goes and presents the will, and which will does he present? This is the will that he gets $7 million, and the other party gets only $1,000. And this guy is sitting over there, the offended party. In his pocket, he has a will that says that it's a later dated will, that he is supposed to get 50-50. And then he's about to pull it out of his pocket. And then he thinks, wait a minute, our children are married. He says, what's going to happen? Our children are going to go, we're going to get into a feud, we're going to go into court, and then the children are going to get into a feud. It's like, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? He decided he's going to hold off. And the unoffended party brings it to the court, and it says, okay, it looks like you get $7 million, you get $1,000. No one said anything, and they close the case. After they close the case, he goes over to Rav Rosner, the author of the Shevet HaLevi, and he says, I don't know what to do. He says, it's my mechutin. I have, a will that says I'm supposed to be getting $3.5 million. Not only is it my mechutin, but he's also my business partner. Should I do it? Should I not do it? What am I allowed to do? What am I not allowed to do? He says, I want to do something with a straight head. So Rav Rosner says, listen. He says, you shouldn't go to court. Don't go to court, but Bezdin, you're allowed to take it. So this mechutin is thinking. He says, okay, Bezdin, I'm allowed to take it. Okay, maybe I'll take it to Bezdin. He's thinking back and forth. As he's thinking, he thinks Rav Rosner, and he starts leaving it. But then he's thinking. He says, wait a minute. He says, should I take it to Bezdin? Should I not take it to Bezdin? What's the ramifications that's going to have? And Rav Rosner, all of a sudden, as if he's reading his mind, he goes and he runs over to the door and he says, even though I told you that you could take him to Bezdin, you should know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu pays people that are Mevater and Lodasa, people that are just forgive and forget. He pays them in this world. He says, do what you want. I want to just give you that bit of information. He says, thank you very much. He goes home, he takes out the third will, he rips it up, he says, I have no interest in doing that anymore. I'm not taking it to court. And he says over the story, it says 6 weeks go by. He was involved in other businesses. He says not only with his partner. 6 weeks go by, and he made tenfold amount of money that he would have made from the $3.5 million. Right. So you talk about he made $35 million, over $35 million in a period of 6 weeks. 20 years go by. He was an American businessman. 20 years go by, and he meets Rav Wozner in Montreal. And he didn't mention anything to Rav Wozner, and Rav Wozner walks over to him and he says, no, didn't I tell you? It pays to be Mevater on it. And this is the power of being Mevater. And now sometimes you could go and be like, oh, well, I was Mevater, and I didn't see where's my $35 million? And like there's a few different angles that we have to really understand this. There's levels that we have to know of what we're going, right? So someone offended you. So you could say, okay, you know what, I'm Mevater. But every time you see that person, his acid reflux starts, like, whoo, like, so were you Mevater? Were you not Mevater? Like, like you're offended, you're not, meaning that there's levels of where it takes you. There's levels of what's the ramifications from it. I found this is one of the better, the options to be able to be Mevater is that when someone goes and offends you and hurts you, and you really want to let it go, what I would recommend, daven for the other.